Okay, hey guys, welcome to this testimony of my experience with the mushroom Amanita Muscaria. This medicine has been calling me for a long time. I've done a lot of deep work with other plant medicines such as ayahuasca, San Pedro, peyote, and very deeply I've worked with psilocybin mushrooms such as goldtops and penis envy, and done lots of deep just one me and God journeys with these beautiful ways to connect to deeper parts of ourselves and to everything that is around us in every dimension, should we have the ability to access those places. And yeah, it's really interesting because I work quite deeply with like integration, so integrating these medicines, making sure that we're actually embodying the knowings that we gain from these medicines. Otherwise, there is very big chances that we will actually just keep having those same traumatic experiences triggered over and over again in our lives for us to choose other ways, and we don't choose the other way because we haven't embodied the energy and we're still acting from those energetic places, fear, guilt, shame, grief. And so we really have to move it through the body. And yeah, and I feel like this Amanita Muscaria, it's actually it's the Irish medicine, so it's the ancient medicine of Ireland, and the shamans who delivered the medicine and used the medicine in Ireland were actually women. And my lineage, my mother on my mother's side is Irish, and so I feel like this medicine has been waiting to get me into a place where I'm ready to really receive the teachings. It had to be the right time. And to be honest, I thought I was just starting with a normal microdosing experience, that I was going to slowly introduce the ally of the medicine into my life and allow it to work with me, work with my subconscious, work with my energies. And it began in that way. I was just kind of getting downloads about things. I started taking a drop of the Amanita Muscaria and a dropper of the Amanita panthera. So there's 3 different kinds of Amanita. And the Amanita Muscaria is the red one with the white spots. Amanita panthera is the purple one with the white spots. And it's also, the Amanita panthera is stronger, so hence the color, I guess, like the darker color. And it works more deeply with your third eye. So the Amanita Muscaria is more grounding. And I was working with both of them at the same time. And I, I'm quite well seasoned with mushrooms, so I kind of went in with like quite a sizable microdose, and so yeah, the first couple of nights they worked with you in your dream state. So the Amanita works with you in your dream state. So a lot of people get quite woozy on it, and it's not actually classed as psychedelic. It works in your dream space, in your subconscious, and reprograms and allows that healing to happen in that unconscious state. And so yeah, those first couple of nights I was just getting some really intense dreaming, and one of the dreams that I had was around the police, and being in front of a row of policemen, and they were drug testing me, and they were asking me, sorry, I've got my notes here because I really don't want to miss like important things. Yeah, so basically it was, stopped smoking weed two weeks ago, so I had no fear. I remember how the last time they stopped me and they said, have you been a good girl? Because I actually lost my license for 3 months. Having taken some MDMA, like a dab of MDMA at a festival 2 days before I drove, and I lost my license for 3 months. So it was beginning, the medicine was beginning to drop in this theme of sovereignty and this disconnect from the earth and this criminalization of the mother's medicine. And it suddenly started to become apparent to me that the spirit that was talking to me was the mother. So the Amanita Muscaria is the mother. She is the earth spirit. So we have the ayahuasca as the grandmother, the San Pedro is the father, I believe, and then you have the Iboga, which is the grandfather. And it's all these different levels of like discipline and teachings, whether it's like a bit further away. The grandmother, ayahuasca is a little bit more bigger picture and further away, kind of emotionally. And the mother, the Amanita, is very present, very there, very detailed, very about the body, it's very in the physical. It feels very in the physical. And things began to kind of shift for me in my being, and I felt myself kind of becoming a bit more of a like player in the game, you know, like the simulation kind of amped up a little bit, and I was really aware of extra time and space around my choices and decisions, and slowing everything right down within myself so I could really recognize the patterns that were beginning to show themselves in those first few days. And then on the Sunday, we went, on the Saturday night, we went to the Cairns Festival, and there was like, I had this feeling for the first time really, because it's the first time I've been out in ages, and I've been posting a lot on TikTok, and a lot of people in Cairns know who I am because of my TikTok and the exposure that I've had in social media for living in a tent, urine therapy, and now living in a bus, and being kind of a bit extreme in the eyes of society as it stands. And I was just ultra aware of kind of eyes on me and people watching me, and so that was really interesting. And then as we left the festival, I noticed I was getting this rash on my arms, and it was just getting more and more, and I was in the car with my friend, and I was just like, whoa. And then I woke up the next day, and it was kind of all over my chest, and I had to get the father of my kids to pick the kids up early because I was beginning to feel really faint. The medicine was speaking very loudly through me at this point, and I got taken, as I had the rash, I was sitting there and I was starting to feel really, really uncomfortable, really itchy, very drained in energy, but also very vulnerable. I was beginning to feel very vulnerable because I was feeling a lot of spiritual download, and I was sitting in, the shopping center, and just normal people around, but feeling more and more like I was in this simulation, but that my boundaries, it felt like my energetic boundaries were not strong enough, and so there was fear coming up. And I dropped my kids, and I went into the shops to get, the medicine told me to get really good cotton bedding. So I needed to get really good cotton bedding to sleep in, and because I only had like kind of not very good like Target stuff, whatever, Kmart, whatever. And so I got like a really high thread count cotton sheet set, like Egyptian cotton, really. I went to TK Maxx actually, and I just got, how they got like expensive stuff real cheap, and so I got some of that basically, and came back and just changed the bedding, and just laid down and just kind of prepared myself for the next week, because I kind of it hadn't really dawned on me yet, but I kind of had this realization that it was about to go really deep, and I was actually being taken. It was, you have dietas with ayahuasca, where people will have the medicine every other night, and maybe they'll work with another plant, like a sister plant, a sister teacher, that will assist the learnings. And I just had this knowing. It was like she was saying to me, when you're going on a dieta, you wouldn't have made time for this, so you need to be taken on this journey. And so, this rash started getting really bad. It started getting really burning and really uncomfortable, and I was having all these lessons coming up around the irritation, the emotion of irritation, and the frustration of that, that like, you got an itch, you really want to itch it, but you can't. And it's like all of that suppressed energy that I've had within me for the disrespect that I've received as a mother. And it's not, you know, it wasn't just my disrespect, you know, this is the thing, like, I've just let so much go because I'm like, oh yeah, you know, that belief is like, oh yeah, you know, the mother's not really that important, you know, so what, like, the kids are the most important thing. And, you know, I've also been in that conditioning. And so it was ancestral, like the depth of this feeling of frustration. I knew it was coming out through my bones. Like, it was just so intense that I knew that it was ancestral. It was this deep, deep, deep. And I just had to sit and I just had to feel it. I had to feel it all. And I was starting to take bigger doses as well. So she told me to up my dose. So I started to up my dose. And then she said to me, I was lying in the bed, and I remember I was just lying there. And she said, are you scared of poison? And before this, I hadn't really researched. I looked into a bit to do with Amanita, and I knew that there was a link between the urine and the Amanita, because the reindeers eat the Amanita because it's poisonous, so they get processed by the reindeer, and then people drink the urine to have the effects of that Amanita. So I knew that they were connected. I did have that knowing, but I was, I guess, being asked to embody this knowing, right? And so I've been doing the looping of the urine, but like I hadn't really been, I've been a kind of on off it. Like I just didn't know the power of it fully in my being. I guess I hadn't fully embodied the knowing of the truth of the power of the urine therapy. And so she's like, are you scared of poison? And I was posting stuff on TikTok, and people were like, you're dying, you know, this rash is poison, the mushrooms have poisoned you, and all this stuff was like, it's like the fear of nature. It's the fear of the mother. It's the fear that nature's gonna hurt us. You know, this is what she represents. This is what her poison represents. It's this remembrance that we can work with nature to get her medicine. We can respect Mother Nature to get her medicine. We can work with the spirits of nature to receive the medicine, but we have to play by nature's rules. You know, we have to. We are nature. Our bodies are nature. We're made up of the same as what, you know, all the animals. We're made up of the same molecules, you know, the physicalness of us, our physical limits, our boundaries are all made up of the earth, which is what everything on the earth is made up of. We are nature. There is no separation. But yeah, this was the beginning of the teaching. So she's like, are you scared of poison? And I said no, because I was getting this awareness that she was going to try and prove some kind of point through me, through my body, because I've been working on my fear so deeply, so deeply, and, you know, been living in a tent and working on that ancestral fear of reconnection with the earth, and doing all the yin yoga, actively grounding, actively coming back into my body, actively doing that work, because I know how important it is. I teach the chakras. And this was just next level embodiment for me, to be able to show the power of what it means to actually have a body that is an open channel and you can access your ancestral wounds, you can access everything through this physical body. It is the portal to the rest of everything, you know, it's the subconscious. It holds everything, holds all the information. And so, you know, the poison, the fear of the body, the fear that, you know, if we do something to our body, we'll die, you know, and also that as well, like that fear of death of the physical body, you know, what happens then. So it was all these fears that I was being asked to face, all alone. I had my dog here, but yeah, just on my own in my bus with all these. I had like tens of thousands of people following me on TikTok at this point, because it was kind of kicking off on there, you know, because people were saying that I was dying. I had nurses and doctors all coming on. So she basically brought me into my body and did this journey kind of through my body, frustrations, and I had this crazy rash, you know. So all this fear of the rash never going away, me being left with these awful scars, and all the fears around being ugly. So there was a lot that came up around, you know, what I look like, what my skin's like self-love stuff, and yeah, like these boundaries that I have, which is the skin is the boundary to the outside world. And I have found a lot in my life that I've had very poor boundaries, and I picked up a lot of other people's stuff. And, you know, we are all being asked at this time to strengthen our boundaries so that we can be these sovereign people, because the world really needs to change, but it can only change from the inside. And so recognizing that these bodies that we have are vehicles for change, like they're literally our temples that we can strengthen, and we can become the machines, the light bodies that, you know, it's going to take to really create God's army here on earth. You know, it sounds like kind of, you know, like a movie or a bit extreme or whatever, but that's really what the ask is, you know. And this was what the Amanita was showing me, because she showed me such incredible things about, you know, what I was eating. She made me go on a complete fast, right? So the most important thing, if people get rash or they get sick, this is what she was showing me: put them in high vibrational bedding, so high, like linen or cotton in the hospitals, and then fast. So she told me to fast, so I started doing a urine fast. So she was showing me the power of the urine fast. She was putting people in connection with me. He was sending me all this information, because I hadn't really been researching the urine. I've been using it on my body, but I had done a bit of research, but it just felt a bit overwhelming. So I wanted like specific stuff to, what I was going through, and that's exactly what I received. So I received these, you know, angels who were just gifting me with information that I was then sharing. And then it was, you know, a lot of information coming through around using the evolved urine on the rash itself, and how healing and soothing it was in comparison to this balm that I was buying that was really expensive, and it was like sticky and oily. And when I was using the aged urine is just so soft, and it's almost like a gel. It's like a different kind of substance. And so when you use it on your skin, it's really hydrating. So it rehydrates, but then it like dries, like real kind of like satin matte, you know. It's and it leaves your skin really soft because it's got urea in it, and that's literally what we're grown in, and how we come out as babies. We're literally grown in urine, and as we come out, we've got this baby soft skin, and it's because we're just surrounded by this urea. So she was showing me all of this through, you know, what I was experiencing, and I was doing these compresses with the aged urine, and it was soothing me no end. You know, being in the middle of the night, not being able to sleep, like it was so uncomfortable. And then my bones began to hurt. So my bones, I started to not be able to really move my bones, and my wrists were really sore, and I couldn't walk. It just went like next level. I had this rash, and then I was like, and now I can't move at all. And I've been on this crazy journey with my diet, just like, you know, I should be vegan because everybody tells me that that's what I should be to be enlightened. I have to be vegan, and to be a good person I have to be vegan, and if I'm not vegan then I'm not a good person. And, you know, I've been through all of that, those projections of other people onto who we need to be, and so we make our choices based on that, not based on what our body is actually telling us we need, you know. And then my body really rejected veganism. I just bloated, and I just had no energy, and I actually felt like pretty sick. So I kind of rejected that quite pretty quickly, but I didn't really take too much meat on to my diet. I was kind of halfway between, you know, drinking a lot of like coconut milk and stuff in my drinks, and yeah, basically the teaching was, but I know that bone broth is good for me, because whenever I have bone broth, I just have this feeling of being like, I don't know, it seems to soothe my being, my nervous system, and everything. But I go in and out of having it. But the teachings were, you look at your blood type O. You need meat, you need protein, you need animal fats. And so I was continuing the fast, and then I stopped looping my urine because I didn't want to still be taking that Amanita on. So then I went into a water fast for like, so I did a urine fast for like 2 days. I think I went onto a water fast for like another 2 days. And then I did a dry fast for 24 hours, and that got broken by the police coming around. And the police came around, and you know, all this stuff around boundaries and our sovereign rights. And I had these dreams coming up around being in fear of the system, but me being in the position that I was in, and I was like very deep with the medicine, I had this respect for myself. It was like the medicine was just speaking through me. And the police came, and one of them shone a torch at my rash, and was like, "What the fuck is that?" Like, he literally said that, and I was just like, "Excuse me, this is my body. This is my body that you're speaking about." And he said, he actually said, "I'm really sorry for bringing that energy into a sacred space." And at that moment, I just felt like this is the change. This is the change. We have this self-respect. We actually have it. That is what is going to make changes in our world. You know, if we actually embody this self-respect rather than just wanting to have it and saying, you know, I respect myself, but like everything that's kind of happening in our reality is not reflecting that self-respect. You know? Aho. And so, yeah, really embodying this self-respect is what is going to create this sovereignty that we need to make the changes in the world that we want to see. So what else did I want to say? So, yeah, so basically the rash began to reduce, and I went back onto the urine. So I did the fasting, and I went back into the water. And then I had the ambulance come around, and she did a poke test and did my bloods and everything, and it was like perfect. Like everything was perfect. My heart rate, like everything, but I had this crazy rash still, you know. This rash didn't go down for like weeks. In fact, I still have remnants of it, and it's still coming up because I'm still working so deeply with the aged urine every day now, that it's this toxin purge. And this is what was coming up, right? So the mother, I mean, if you follow me, you would have seen these videos that I'd made along the way, but the mother is super angry. She is so angry that her children have been taken off her. Her children have been stolen from her and poisoned. You know, she has all these beautiful medicines. She has everything, all of nature to offer, to heal, to bring us back in connection with the mother, to bring us back into connection with the earth. And we are we're actually sterilizing ourselves so she can't get to us. We're sterilizing ourselves from the bacteria. We're creating this sterile environment around ourselves, and then poison is going in, you know. And at the same time as I was recording this stuff for TikTok, I put up a video of me having like hits of energy and doing the urine therapy. And I was like, you know, this is the energy that you have when you're doing urine therapy. And I put this like emo song on. I can't remember what song it is. It's like, begging you, put your loving arms up, baby. It had that, and that was like going viral at the same time. And it had all these like people who are on meds, all these young people being like, get on your meds, like you're having a manic attack. And then all this conversation was happening around like people on meds basically, and how the big pharma and the doctors are saying that there's something wrong with you and you have to be on this medication or else you're gonna die, basically. Like, this is what people are saying. I was having all these conversations with people laying there healing, feeling, you know, I was getting onto them. Then I got onto I had a fruit. So when I okay, when I broke the fast, there's just so much to say. This is why it's like taken me a really long time to record this, because I'm like, this is like such an important transmission to me. So okay, I'm gonna slow down. So when I came off the fast, I broke my fast with a fruit juice, and my body just repelled. My body was just like I had a crash in energy. Like, it was so refreshing on the way down, but it was because that was like a cold drink, you know. I could have had like a cold water, but the sugar, like the sugar rush, the sugar high, just made me just go like, and then I had a bit of a headache, and then I started feeling sick, and I just had this crash. And my body was like, nope, you need chicken, you need bone broth, make a big bone broth. So I started looking at the bone broth, and I got chicken feet, chicken necks, chicken rack. And basically I was being shown through my bones that because of what I've been eating, and also because of the emotions, so it was also the emotions that were keeping me stuck in that place of thinking that I had to eat that way because I had to be like perfect or something in this world and not following my own intuition and my own flow, was also disrespecting myself, right? And disrespecting my body and disrespecting my own needs. And so starting to eat that stuff, like everything about my body and my mind and everything just was beginning to shift and alter and change. And I could feel that because, you know, the emotions are connected to these physical ailments that we have. And it was showing me how this is all connected. Oh gosh, it's so hot today. It's like so sweaty. And I had to turn the fan off because it's really noisy. Yeah, so I was being shown basically the how these things are manifested into the physical. And so these feelings, these suppressed feelings of disrespect, come up in osteoporosis. So our bones, we start to get like, it's literally like our bones start to like give up. We're just like, oh, we're just not even worth like standing upright or like being strong in our bones. Like there's no inner strength of like this self-respect. And that's kind of what was happening to my body. It's crazy. It's really, really, really wild and amazing. And yeah, and so as I was starting to eat and change my beliefs around that and be like, no, like, you know, mothers, like respect the mother, respect my boundaries, respect what I know about the medicines, respect nature, respect, you know, the role of the mother to protect the children, you know. And at the same time, my children were being taken by their father, and I was having all these threats about them being taken away from me and being taken more into the system. So that was all really like, you know, full on and very relevant. Like the whole thing was so relevant, and I think I'd even had a dream about that at the beginning as well. So I was like, almost like I was preempted and pre-warned about what the themes were going to be, and then I had to like go through the things and feel the feelings to embody the knowing and to release a lot of the energies through. Literally I was shown how to sit and have my inner core, my inner sense of self like so strong and so aligned that my body could feel anything, and I was just allowing it to feel it, like that frustration of the itch, and just allowing the body, the feeling of the itch, you know, was very strengthening for my spirit. I was feeling my spirit just strengthen and strengthen inside me. Yeah, and then I began to feel like a real fairy, you know. I just began to like literally feel like a fairy because I'd had all this stuff come up around ugliness, and I was like, actually my body was starting to feel really, underneath the rash was starting to feel like, you know, I was losing some weight because of the fasting, and I was starting to feel really like a fairy, just like in my, what I want to be like, but it feels so vulnerable to be that little, you know, because it's like, can I still be in my strength? Can I still be in my power with men and still have my boundaries being this little and this delicate? You know, can I still be like the inner energetic strength and that core of spirit in this little body? Because I do want to be light. I'm a yogi. I want to be light on my mat. I love being light on my feet. I love having all the energy for my kids, you know. So I was like in that place, but I still had this rash. So I was like learning to love who I knew that I could actually embody being because of these teachings. And also just loving the journey of all the fears that I'd faced sitting with the mother, all the fears and the pain and the separation. And one of the major things for me that came up as well was, you know, the mother, the anger, the frustration, the deep suppressed feelings, poison, all coming to the surface. So purging it all through my system, like all of it, all of the poison that I put in my body thinking that it was good for me, or, you know, all of the poison that I'd been taking in from other people and allowing other people to tell me about myself. One of the funny, awesome things that happened was I went down into the rainforest here, and I'm like, I do believe in fairies. And I was literally feeling like a fairy, and I was like, I do believe in fairies. I do believe in fairies. And then I'm like, I do believe in myself. And I just became this like fairy that I believed in, and I'm like going around and listening to the trees and connecting, and it was truly, this whole thing has truly been, was after childbirth, the most incredible magical experience of my life. And you know, I really believe that, you know, not everybody is going to have to go through what I went through in terms of this rash, but I believe, you know, because this is my medicine, this is what I'm going to be working with, like, very, very deeply, continuing forward. This is my ancestral medicine. You know, I had this realization the other day. I was like, I don't need anything apart from that feeling of knowing that that is who I am. I am this essence of what the Amanita showed me to be through my Celtic roots, my singing, all the things that I was doing, my drumming, and just that feeling of that fairy energy, you know. So the fairies are connected to the Amanita. They're always with the toadstool, and they're from Ireland. And so, yeah, there's been a lot that's come up around me being a fairy. I got called a queen of the fairies by my astrologer who did my chart. And this was before any of this kind of real fairy stuff started coming up. So it's been a really interesting journey with this, because the fairies connect the other realms with the earth and take care of nature. And I feel so blessed to be connected to that realm in any way, you know. So, but I also feel very grounded in myself, and I think a lot of it's been to do with really uniting the masculine and the feminine, and really holding safe space for myself as I was doing this, and knowing that, you know, not many people can do this kind of work. And you really, to be able to go as deep as I went, and to really, like, literally, I feel like a different person. Like, I feel like my skin's different, my hair's different, like the way that I think, my boundaries, everything with the kids, the boundaries that I'm able to put in for them are just so powerful for the mother, and for them to learn to respect the mother role, you know, and to then learn to respect themselves in relation to that respect they have for the mother, has been incredible to watch play out in this integration time. And the mother exists in all of us, males, females, you know. It is that it's the earth, it's the emotions and the physical. So your body, you know, it's the mother. So connecting in with nature, connecting in with the mother, connecting in with your own mother, your own birth story, your own attachment style, that is all connecting and healing for your connection with the mother. And you could do that with microdosing with Amanita, and she works on the gut health. She works on everything to do with the physical and healing physical ailments, and she will show you what it is about what you're doing that is not working for your physical body, and that is the power of this medicine. And yeah, I was also shown that, you know, the Father God is the spiritual and the logical, the mind, and the thought realm, the spiritual realm. So it's like this combination of the masculine and the feminine in our own hearts that creates a really, really powerful energetic field and energetic boundary. And this is the, you know, this is the work that we can all do on an individual level to become the change and to actually be our own healers. We can be our own healers, our own physical healers, and heal our own connection with the mother. And this is what is going to heal the earth, and it's going to allow us as humanity to stay on this planet. We need to have respect for our own bodies. We need to respect the fact that whatever we're putting into our bodies is ultimately creating who we are on every dimension of the self. And so it's really, really important. So much came up around the toxins that we're putting into our body. Nothing is a treat. If it's toxic, it's toxic, and it won't be a treat for the body. So it's more coming back to eating and really, really appreciating fruits as that source of sugar, and really appreciating meat as that grounding energy rather than like really heavy carbs. And there was a lot that came up around that being like the poverty food, you know. It's like the poor man's filler food, and it's not good for us, and it's not good for me. I've lost so much weight since I've just been eating more protein, and I've never felt so sustained in my being, and I've got heaps of energy, and my body is super flexible. I've been having so much of this bone broth, and it's really collagen-y. It's like jelly when you put it in the fridge. And yeah, I've just, I've never like felt as good in my being, I'm 43 years old, and I'm gonna actually get my tests, my bloods and stuff done by a naturopath that I've heard is really good, just to see like, what's going on in my body and how my body is actually, how it's coming up on that health level. I'm really intrigued to know, because so much of what I've been processing and what I've been integrating and what I've been teaching since I did the Amanita is around the urine therapy, the power of urine therapy, the healing powers of our own perfect medicine that our body creates, with that blueprint of our perfect original health, and working even deeper with the aged urine. And I feel that working deeper with the aged urine has really got me to a point now where I've been ready to share this story, because I have got to that level of integration and embodiment of the teachings of the Amanita. And I'm feeling really ready to start working with her again. She hasn't found me again, but I'm just trusting the journey that she will. And until then, this is a medicine that I feel, there's another lady who works with it called Amanita Dreaming, and I believe she was giving it out for free. And there's so much calling to come back to the medicine, and what she really wants us to be doing is, the mother wants us to be dancing on the earth and singing. The Father wants us to sing, worship. So much has come up for me around God and Jesus since I've been working with this mushroom. There's a deep connection with this particular mushroom and Jesus, fruit of the gods, the soma. There's a lot of stuff. I don't tend to really say that this is a truth until I've been shown it, and I haven't been shown any of that yet. I feel like that's why I'm being called to work deeper with the medicine, because I'm super intrigued to know all the little secrets. Because the urine therapy, it's the 108th teaching in the Dharma Tantra, and it's the secret teaching, and it's the elixir of life. And yin yoga is also the elixir of life, and that's the feminine yoga. And then the mother is the feminine spirit to work with. And so we're coming deeper into that feminine wisdom, which is all about where we're heading in the age of Aquarius. So if you've got any questions about any of what I've spoken to today, I feel like I've covered everything that I wanted to. I'm sure things will come up that I haven't mentioned, and so I might make videos in the future with more specific about specific parts that I've touched on, the fasting, or the urine therapy and the healing of it, and the suppressed emotions, things like that. But I just wanted to kind of give an overview today and just get it out there. And I cannot, if you want to come into respect and heal your physical body, truly I cannot tell you a better teacher and a better plant medicine to work with. So thank you, Mama Amanita.